Is 0% financing for buying a new car too good to be true? The short answer is usually yes. Whenever you see an ad offering 0% financing for 72 months or whatever, the first thing you'll want to look for is whether there is a cash discount offer that you can't get if you opt for the 0% financing. For example, an ad might say 0% financing for 72 months or $5,000 cash purchase discount. That big fat "or" should get your spidey sense tingling. That means you have to pick either the 0% financing or the big fat discount for paying in cash, but you can't get both. And bear with me if you don't have the cash to buy outright. That's actually the key to this whole analysis. Let's break down both options. Suppose the car we're looking at has a regular price of $25,000. If we were to get a $25,000 loan at a 0% interest rate for 72 months, we would have a payment of $347.22 per month. And of course, the total amount of money paid over those 72 months would be $25,000 because we haven't paid interest. But if we decided to take the $5,000 discount for paying in cash up front, we would take the $25,000 price and subtract the cash purchase discount of $5,000 to get $20,000. Now, yes, most people at this point would say, great, but I don't have $25,000, let alone $20,000, and I need to finance the car. As an aside, my first response to this would be to say, well, you should be looking at a cheaper car because I don't think people should finance depreciating assets, but some people think that's just crazy talk, so I'll leave that for another video for another time. So back to our conundrum. We can get 0% financing over 72 months, or we can get a $5,000 discount for paying in cash, but not both. So here is the key part to this whole analysis. The thing you have to consider is that you can get the $5,000 cash purchase discount so long as you give the dealer $20,000 in cash, and you could get that $20,000 in cash if you got a $20,000 loan from somewhere else. But the question is, when would this make sense? And the answer is if the cost of financing that $20,000 is less than $5,000 in this case. Okay, let's break this down to make it clear. To start, remember that with our dealer's 0% financing offer, we can finance $25,000 from the car dealer at 0% interest over 72 months, and that gives us a monthly payment of $347.22. But if we get a loan from somewhere else for $20,000, we first want to solve for the interest rate that over the same 72 months will give us a monthly payment of $347.22. Using a financial calculator, we solve for the interest rate and find that number to be 7.64%. So what this means is that if we can find a lender somewhere else who is willing to lend us $20,000 over 72 months with an interest rate less than 7.64%, we'll have a lower monthly payment, and our total principal and interest paid out over this time will be less than $25,000. Interest rates are pretty low these days, so let's say we find a lender willing to offer a 4% interest rate. If we still wanted to pay the $20,000 loan at 4% interest over 72 months, our monthly payment required will be $312.90. That's a full $34.32 less per month every month for those 72 months. Our total outlay, principal and interest, over the 72 months is $22,528.80. So we've just seen that it's possible for a 4% loan to end up costing us less out of pocket than a 0% loan in this case. And in this case, we've saved just under $2,500 over the 0% financing offer. Another way we could use this information is to keep the monthly payments the same and see how much shorter the overall loan would be. So again, if our starting loan balance is $20,000, our interest rate we were able to find was 4%, and we set our monthly payment to $347.22 per month, we want to solve for how many months the loan would be. Using our trusty financial calculator again, we find this to be just a hair over 64 months. In other words, we could shorten our loan by 8 months. Our total principal and interest paid is $22,244.64. So to recap at this point, we have three scenarios using this particular example. Scenario number one, take the 0% financing offer from the dealer. You pay $347.22 per month for 72 months. Total outlay, $25,000. Scenario number two, borrow $20,000 elsewhere and get 4% financing. Pay $312.90 per month for 72 months. Total outlay, $22,528.80. And scenario number three, borrow $20,000 elsewhere, but instead of decreasing the monthly payment, decrease the length of the loan. So the monthly payments are the same as in scenario one at $347.22 per month, but that pays off the loan in only 64 months. Total outlay, $22,244.64. If your goal is to pay the lowest total amount overall, and I think we can all agree that that's probably the goal, the 0% financing is the worst option out of three in this particular example. So if you want to do the analysis on a specific deal, the two main variables you'll need are the cash purchase discount amount and the rate of interest on getting financing elsewhere. You don't need to necessarily worry about solving for the interest rate like we did if you're not a fan of math or financial calculators. You can just see what the best rate of interest is available from another lender and use an auto loan calculator on the web to figure out your total outlay. And if it's cheaper overall, it'll make sense to skip the 0% financing and find your own financing somewhere else. But wait, there's more to this story. Sometimes 0% financing is offered with price discounts at the same time. In other words, the 0% financing and price discount are not mutually exclusive. Usually, all other things being equal, that would mean that the length of the loan they offer 0% financing for might be shorter and or the price discount smaller. There are some other caveats to be aware of whenever you see some of the other types of offers for 0% financing. Sometimes the credit score required to qualify for 0% financing might be super high. That means that if you have a less than stellar credit history, you won't qualify for the offer and instead get offered a higher interest rate. Or 0% financing might only be offered for very short loan terms, like 3 years or less. Knowing that many buyers may not be able to afford such high payments, dealers know that buyers will opt for a longer loan with a regular interest rate once they're in the showroom. Sometimes 0% financing is only available on certain models. You see the lure of 0% financing available, but it's only offered for, say, an entry-level car, and you're having a midlife crisis and want to impress the new wave of interns at the office. Well, you might not be able to get 0% financing on that kind of car. Here is some final food for thought when it comes to offers for 0% financing. Number one, it's best to think of 0% financing as an incentive used to increase the likelihood of you buying. It's not some altruistic gesture. Number two, if you're offered 0% financing or a large cash purchase discount, it's sometimes better to borrow the cash purchase amount from someone else and pay interest. You could end up paying less overall. And finally, although I suspect this will be a polarizing comment to some, number three, aim to avoid borrowing money to buy depreciating assets. While some would suggest they couldn't otherwise afford a $25,000 car or whatever without a loan, that's kind of the point. Consider looking for a cheaper car you could afford to buy without a loan if possible. Well, that's it for this episode. I hope you'll consider subscribing to my channel for more videos like this on anything to do with money and making financial decisions. Please do leave a comment if you have anything to add to the conversation, or if you have any ideas of what you would like me to cover in a future video. Hey guys, thanks for watching Mostly Money. I hope you enjoyed today's show. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel by clicking on the button in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, the little thing that says subscribe. There are lots of videos to explore on my channel, like this one. So if you want to learn more about money and personal finance in a fun way, check those out. If you have any questions for me, you can reach out to me on Twitter @PreetBanerjee, or you can leave your questions and comments down below in the comments section. That's it for today. See you next time.